Thank you for tuning in to More Than 2 Minutes. I'm your humble host, Wil E. What are you prepared to sacrifice? Because activism sounds powerful until you realize it adds something from you every single day. Not just your voice, but your energy. Not just your presence, but your peace. See, we celebrate showing up for the fight, but we don't always talk about what it costs or what it takes to stay in it. Who were you before the work demanded your attention? And who are you becoming while carrying it out? Because somewhere between awareness and action, between speaking out and showing up, there's a mirror. And in that mirror is a question most people try to avoid. Am I still whole? Today's conversation isn't just about activism. It's about identity. It's about mental health, and it's also about what happens when you're constantly pouring out and whether you found a way to pour back into yourself. Because maybe the real work isn't just changing the world. It's making sure you don't lose yourself while you're trying to save it. And today's guest lives at that intersection, an activist, stylist, model, and mental health advocate who understands both the weight of the work and the power of showing up as your full self. So sit back, grab your tea, and let's get served by Lelani Marie Russell. Lele, what's up, 6'7"?
I'm glad you know.
How's it doing? How's it going?
I'm well. You scared me.
That's good. Wake you up. Wake you up. Wake you up. Wake you up. It's a special day, so you gotta wake you up. Wake you up. So, one thing that you did not know when you agreed to come onto the show. Well, first of all, thank you for joining More Than 2 Minutes. It's really special having you here. So thank you. I really, really do appreciate it.
I appreciate being asked to be here. Thank you.
And this is a momentous occasion because this is episode number 10.
Okay.
Yeah. We made it to number 10. It's been a wild ride. You know, we've got a lot of momentum. The podcast is, you can find it everywhere. Views are, ramping up, clicks ramping up, subscriptions ramping up. It's like, all right, it's time to get 6, 7 on now.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a great conversation. I'm really, really excited. And, the whole thing with More Than 2 Minutes is to give each guest an opportunity to tell their story, to take us through their journey. And the first thing I definitely want to get into is your background and the foundation, your foundation. But before we go there, I want to ask one simple question, which is, what season are you in?
I am in my me season.
All right.
I am learning. All my life has been for others.
Yeah.
How I was taught was really it was selfish to think of yourself.
Yeah.
And I say my me season is really my saving me season, of learning that if the plane go down, I got to save myself first before I can save everybody else. So really pouring back into me, things that I love, things that saved me once before, and really doing the things that I want to do and being okay with not doing the stuff that I don't want to do because it'll appease someone else.
Yeah. That's important. I mean, you really have to protect yourself. In the intro, I ran down like all the things. It's almost like your resume, right? I mean, being an activist, being a community organizer, being a stylist, being on the go, having, children, parenting, being a daughter, all these different things. And so at times you can lose yourself.
Very easily.
Yeah. So let's go to the foundation. Before you started fighting, right, there was a reflection. Okay, I always think about an ocean, and there's the moon shining off the ocean. You're standing right there, and you're looking down, and you see your reflection. So when you look at your reflection, what do you see?
Now? I actually see a lot of strength.
Okay.
I am actually able to see myself in a way that I haven't seen myself in a long time. which I know it sounds crazy because I'm gorgeous, but you know, self-esteem is, my dad used to always say, how can you have low self-esteem? It's your esteem. It's how you feel about yourself.
Right.
And I used to feel like that was a crazy thing to say because when you don't know yourself, it's easy to, you know, let other people's views take over how you view yourself. Literally looking at yourself, you see what other people put out there.
Right.
But I'm actually able to see the things. Like, it's crazy to hear people say the things that I have done and stuff like that. Or even the past couple of weeks, I've been revisiting a lot of things, and it's like, wow, I did a lot of stuff. So when there was a period of time where I saw myself as very weak, as very low, and I can finally get back to saying, none of that was weak.
Right. No
parts of it, even the parts of me that took a bad turn or was taking a bad turn, I stayed.
Yeah.
I kept going.
Yeah.
I figured it out. I adjusted. And I see my strength. I see my power. I see the things that I've done reflected in myself.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Where were you born?
I was born here in Dallas.
What part of Dallas?
Actually, I was born at St. Paul Hospital. So it was off of Harry High, if I'm not mistaken. St. Paul not here no more.
Wait, so that's North Dallas?
I think so.
Okay.
So
no Oak Cliff, no South Dallas?
So you know what's funny?
Yeah.
So I tell people that I'm from everywhere because I'm accepted in every hood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No place that I can't go and be a part. My family is actually from Beaumont, but both my parents are from Beaumont. They came here. They had me. My mama moved back, ended up having my sister, and we've been here since I was 5. Okay. But I actually grew up between North Dallas and Oak Cliff.
Okay, what high school did you go?
I actually went to Richardson High School.
Richardson.
I went to Richardson. I know it sounds crazy, huh? My mama had all the parents at the time, a lot of parents had the same idea. We're going to move you kids from these different hoods. We're going to give you a better life over here. So then you had multiple kids from different hoods.
Yeah.
In the same school. My mama thought she was going, oh, you're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to be fighting.
Yeah.
I got in a fight the first week of school.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Crazy times.
Those Dukes ever since. So.
You know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
Okay.
So going from elementary, you know what? You said you went to Richardson High School, so I want to stay there for a minute. In Richardson High School, did you have the fashion sense that you have now, or were you just you showed up in some jeans, some sneaks, and a T-shirt?
So I have different styles, and I've always been real different. My freshman year, I was on a Knicks. I was at a new school. Y'all don't know me.
Yeah.
I had, like, my tennis shoe game was cool.
Yeah.
My clothes were good. And I bust out in some heels every now and then at school.
Really?
Yeah, my big sister used to wear heels in college.
Yeah.
I mean, in high school.
Okay.
So that was something for me. I was like, I can't wait till I get there, baby. I'm put me a heel on every now and then.
Really?
But yeah, my mom and dad are very stylish.
Okay.
So they didn't always like my style.
Yeah.
Me and my dad had to have a conversation. I said, well, you ain't gotta wear it. I ain't gotta wear it. So, but I always had a little style.
Yeah. That's nice. So you graduated from Richardson High School, and then what happened?
So when I graduated, I went to Texas Commerce University in Denton. And I was actually pregnant with my daughter.
Okay.
So, yeah, I went to school. I came home after the first semester because I was pregnant the last day. I got pregnant the last day of the school senior year. And so I went to school, went through the first semester, had my daughter second semester, took a little time off, went back to school and with my daughter on campus.
Okay. So your sense of activism, I know it didn't just pop up one day. You know, it was something that was probably born into you. So let's talk about that. When did you first recognize, or when were you first educated that there's something wrong in our society and we have to do something about it?
I learned a lot of things at home.
Okay.
Really from my dad.
Okay.
My mom and dad are very different. My mom kind of wanted to shelter us a little bit.
Okay.
two different households. My dad was like, nah, they need to get it from me. They need to get it from us. They need to, know some things so that they're not green out here. So my daddy made us all watch Roots. And we watched all the Roots. I'm talking about the next chapter. We watched all of it.
Really?
From Kunta Kinte to Chicken George. I watched it all. And we used to have discussions afterwards.
Okay.
I was the only one that was excited about the discussions. Discussions used to be, I'm like, what? I can't wait to talk about this. I actually learned about the Holocaust and everything from my dad. Like, he was like, he was talking about it. I probably was like in the 5th grade or something like that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. And he's like, they ain't taught y'all that in school yet? And I was like, no. So my dad was very strong with that to the point to where he took me to my first protest when I was 14 years old.
Really?
Now, we lived in Dallas. Well, I lived in Richardson at the time. My dad lived in Oak Cliff. And at Richardson High School, my dad took me from Richardson to Gina, Louisiana to fight for the Gina 6. There were 6 young boys who, had went to jail. 5 of them were let out. The last one, the oldest one, Michael Bell, they didn't let him out of jail. So the protest was for him. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Michael Bazin. They had George, Tom Joyner. All of them were there.
Right.
And it was an experience for me. So
I can imagine.
I got to see literally, it was probably thousands of people out there.
Yeah.
Small town, you got to actually see the town be separated. Like, people talk about stuff like that and segregation and stuff, but their town in 2007, it was 2006, maybe. It was 2007.
Okay.
There was a railroad track that separated the black side and the white side. Like, it was crazy. And the black side was totally different. But I walked to the high school, did all types of stuff. And my dad had lost me. And he was like, I need y'all to make an announcement. Like, where is my child?
Oh, it's like lost.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
So they were like, that's Al Sharpton up there. My dad was like, I don't give a damn who it is.
Right.
And somebody need to say something because I can't find my daughter. And Al Sharpton had to make an announcement. And and they found me. And I remember my grandmother was like, hey, watch out for your daddy. Don't let him go out there and do nothing crazy.
Right.
So my daddy was like, say, what we doing?
I'm down.
What we here
right?
for? And I remember after that, the celebrities, they left. They went and had an after party in Lafayette. They were done. I'm like, the boy ain't out of jail. Y'all done protest? Like, this is it? I know this can't be it. Well, we stayed. The new Black Panther Party was there.
Yeah. And
I ended up passing out. Well, my dad was like, well, we need to go get you something to eat. We need to go ahead and go.
Right.
And so when he had said that, I tapped on one of the ladies. I said, excuse me, I just wanted to tell you, like, thank y'all.
Yeah.
This was amazing. Like, I got to go. She's like, you want to get up here and speak? And I was like, heck yeah, I want to speak. And my dad was like, that's my baby. And I spoke. And when I spoke to the crowd, everybody was like, oh, my gosh.
I'm thinking, my God.
And the new Black Panther, I'm 14 years old. They were like, hey, come with us. We'll feed you.
Yeah.
Come with us. And they took us to this church they were having a meeting at. And they talked to me. They had me go up in front of them and speak to everybody.
Yeah.
They were like, my dad was going to prison at the time. He was about to go to prison. And they were like, we got some people. We try to help you with that. And when Michael Bell was actually released from jail, me and my dad got to go back. Me, my dad, and my aunt got to go back and actually eat with his family. They barbecued.
Really?
We got to be with them on Bell Street. We got to hear the story about their family. I got to see all of his scholarships that he lost because of the jail and all of that stuff. But he had like a stack of papers showing all of the schools he was accepted into for football, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But we got to like real life be with them where people, security and the police had them to where, people couldn't even get on their property.
Right.
And I got to be a part of that. So that did something to me. A girl actually reached out to me last week and was like, I remember when you were going to Louisiana, when you were going to Gina for the Gina 6, she said, you were so excited. I was telling everybody if that was the best thing that had ever happened to me. I had my shirt and stuff that I had from the protest up until a police officer hit me when I was 21 at another protest, and they had to cut me out my shirt. But they didn't have to cut me out my shirt.
Right.
They cut me out my shirt though. But yeah.
That is amazing. So you were basically born into the fight. Wow. And doing fashion at the same time.
Very much so.
So let's transition to, okay, so you were 14. Okay, that was your first protest. But you've been in multiple protests since then. So that struck something in you. So what exactly did you feel in terms of, okay, I've got to do something. I've got to speak out. I've got to show up for my people or for my community.
I became a mother at 18. Got pregnant at 17, became a mom at 18. And I had a little girl. And for me, I didn't want my daughter to, and it's crazy. So my daughter was born February 25th, 2022. Trayvon Martin was killed February 26th, 2000. My bad. My daughter from February 25th, 2012. Yeah, I said that right. My daughter was born February 26th, 2012. Trayvon Martin was murdered. I was in the hospital. I never forget how I felt hearing that story and everything and what it incited in me.
Right.
And actually, a year later, I spoke about that, about his passing and just the different things. And another boy had been killed, Jordan. I can't think of his last name right now, but he was murdered at a gas station, and they, the guy who killed him was using the stand your ground law, but he left the scene. He was with his girlfriend. It was a car full of kids. He wanted them to turn their music down. They was like, you know, whatever.
Right.
And he went to his car, walked back, shot that baby.
Really?
Got back in his car and drove off. I can't think of his name, but I was bringing awareness to that at the memorial where we were. Everybody around the country was remembering Trayvon Martin, and I want to say the case was happening that time. And I remember when it's crazy, I can't even think of it. Zimmerman was found not guilty. I was actually at the barbershop with my boyfriend at the time, and I remember crying. Like, I was so hurt.
Really?
And with my daughter, I never wanted her to feel like, know what a weak woman was like, or be a weak woman. I wanted her to have strength. So for me, I had to get out there and fight. And I needed it to be understood that, for her, I can raise the best kid that I want to raise. I can do all of the right things. I do all of the right things. But if I don't change the world around her, my baby can still be a statistic. When you look at Botham Jean and him being murdered inside of his home by Amber Geiger, he did everything right. Didn't even have a speeding ticket. He went through life being the, outside of him smoking weed, which it shouldn't be bad, but regardless, he was murdered. So for me, I had to change the things that were around her. And when Freddie Gray was killed, that was enough for me. I was 21 years old. That was my first real protest as an adult, like actually marching the street. I ended up taking over and a police officer hit me with his car that same night. But that, to me, I was so upset. Which,
wait,
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Okay.
Because I know I did go fast past that.
Well, no, I just want to ask. So a police officer hit you with
his vehicle.
Intentionally.
And on the news, they said that I was a man that ran out to traffic and got hit by a car.
Did you have your dreads then?
No.
Okay.
I had short hair actually at the time.
You had short hair, okay.
But it's crazy. We talk about my backstory. What incited me from jump, the very first thing that I was introduced to, especially when it comes to police, because that's my background, police brutality.
Right.
Was really watching my father be beat by police when I was 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
My dad and my mom were kind of into it, and she had told the daycare not to let him come and get us. There was an ice cream shop next door to the daycare. Okay. I remember it to this day. My dad always says that I remember, he's like, they did rough me up, but they ain't really beat me. 5-year-old me, they beat you.
Yeah.
And I still remember it because I used to have dreams about it for years.
Yeah.
And he came to the daycare and they were like, you can't take them. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna take them. He was like, I'm gonna bring them back, but I'm about to take them next door. We finna have some ice cream.
Right.
I miss my girls and I'm gonna bring them back.
Right.
And when he said that, they were like, well, we're gonna call the police. And he's like, okay. He walked us back in. They moved all the kids away from the window except for me.
What?
Took everyone away.
Okay.
And I watched multiple officers beat my daddy. Again, he said that they didn't beat him. They roughed him up, but they didn't beat him. Roughing up is beating.
Right.
At 5, that's beating.
Right.
And they took my daddy to jail.
Yeah.
That was my first real introduction to police officers.
Okay. Okay.
So that was crazy to me, especially in a sense of me being like, my daddy didn't take us long.
Yeah.
We were gone probably 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Had probably less than that.
Yeah.
Got a little ice cream and he brought us right back.
Yeah.
Was a crazy time for me. But yeah, I have had a lot of stuff. I had a police officer hit me with a car. I've been body slammed multiple times, drug, pepper spray, knees in my back, all types of stuff.
So, and again, you know, I want to go back to the intro, because activism is hard, and people, they really don't realize how challenging it is to stay in the fight. You know, everybody comes out. I call them kind of like weekend protesters, but
They want to feel like they're doing something.
Right. But activism is a lifestyle.
Very much so.
And it's something that you have to commit to, and you have to say day in, day out, this is how I'm going to live my life. So walk me through what activism looks like as a lifestyle.
So 2015, that's when Freddie Gray was killed. That was a year after Mike Brown. Mike Brown excited a lot. St. Louis, Ferguson, went to work. To do this as a lifestyle, you don't have many regular friends. You don't spend a lot of time with people. You look rough because it's not about being cute.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It's action time.
Yeah.
There's, you know, I had people say, oh, y'all getting paid for this. Is some money out there for this? Because where is the money?
Right.
I'm using everything. I had the best little car at the time. Because like $5 would get me from Denton to Dallas.
Right.
And drive me around a little bit. But I lived in Denton, and I was protesting in Dallas. My best friend stayed in McKinney.
Right.
So literally it's 7 days in a week, 6 days out the week.
Yeah.
I'm in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I'm protesting. I'm falling asleep at one of my friends. He had a smoke shop, or I would go to my grandmother's house, give me a little rest, go home. And at the time, well, you know, 35 they've been remodeling 35 my whole life. But I would be in traffic for like hour and a half trying to get back home. I would get home so late, homework, all types of stuff.
Okay.
Relationships are hard.
Yeah.
Even dating is like damn near impossible.
Yeah,
because most guys, the first thing that they would say to me is, oh, you know, once we get together, you want to stop this.
Yeah.
Sir, kill yourself. I mean, what do you mean? This is something that I believe in. You're not even giving me, at least let us get together first before you try to, now we can't talk no more.
Yeah.
But you don't, I forgot a lot of me.
Yeah.
I was sick at the time. I have chronic anemia. My body doesn't produce the blood that I lose.
Okay.
I've had 5 total blood transfusions. I've been offered multiple times and declined some other ones, so I could have had more than that. At the time, I want to say like 2015. It was 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
I was getting iron infusions, all types of stuff. Passing out at protests. I had all types of things.
Yeah.
But I would literally fall out, sit up, eat me something, breathe for a little bit, and get right back at it.
Wow.
It is literally watching your back all the time. I had my first case was from Austin, but I got arrested leaving out of Denton. But there was a warrant for all of our arrests for a protest that happened in Austin.
Right.
They got us off of facial recognition drones. So it was not like I got a ticket while I was out there. Some people did go to jail, but everybody who said that they were going on Facebook,
Right.
they matched them to the facial recognition drone, and they had warrants out for our arrest. So we found out that we had warrants out for our arrest when they were knocking on our door to come get us. So they had actually came to the school. I lived on campus. They came to the school and looking for me. Somebody let me know. So I dipped. Stupidly, though, I still got caught because I was speeding. So,
Like, let me get out, but you need to get away.
What? Still not thinking. And an officer, I can't even think of what that city is called. It's Creek something, or something Creek. And they took me to Denton. When I got to Denton's little county jail or whatever, called my best friend. I'm like, hey, look, come get me. When I saw the judge was like, Austin on their way to come get you. They said they can't wait to see you again. I said, I have never been arrested in Austin. I'm not understanding this. Like, how is this a thing?
Right.
But I got hit with obstruction of a highway or passageway and something else. They say that usually people get that for like drunk driving and stuff. So the officer who arrested me, he was like, so what did you do? And I was like, man, he was like, what you do? You was drunk? I say, yeah, something like that. Like, mind your business. And go and take me to the jail and leave me alone.
If you're going to arrest me, just arrest me.
My best friend, I don't know if it's illegal, so I'm not going to say all that, but he looked out for me. And they couldn't find, they kept saying, oh, she's not here. And he was like, nah, I know she was here.
Right.
I talked to her when she got arrested. I heard everything that was going on. The officer threatened to break my window.
Right.
If I didn't let it all the way down, which, I had cracked it. I could speak to him, and he was like, if I didn't let it all the way down, he was going to break it and drag me out of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you don't got to do all of that. But he ended up, whatever. I was there. My best friend was calling. He got all the way to the warden and was like, y'all will let me know if that girl in there is something.
Right.
Because Sandra Bland had just got killed not too long before that.
Okay.
So he was like, not becoming a Sandra Bland, so y'all gonna let me know where she. And one of the CEOs had came out when I was getting processed. She said, you got a pushy family member or a lawyer or something. I say, I laughed. I said, yeah, something like that. And I remember after I spoke to the judge and he was like, they on their way to come get you. I went back in the little cell. I told my best friend, I said, hey, they come to get me, hurry up.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm on my way. He came and got me. But that was my very first case. I ended up, there was some lawyers who did pro bono work for all of us. And it was hundreds of us who had warrants out.
Yeah.
And so they took care of the cases. And I was driving back to Austin one time, but it was raining. And he was like, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. So I ended up having deferred adjudication. So if I didn't get in trouble within a certain amount of time, then it's not really stripped from your record, but it is, but they can still see that something happened, but when they run your background, but they don't know what happened.
Right.
So I have to get it expunged eventually.
Okay. So you've been in this for years, and the fight can feel overwhelming. It can take a lot out of you. You have children, So through all the years and all the experiences, what's drained you the most?
Community.
Wow. The community that you're fighting for is what drains you the most.
Ignorance is truly bliss.
Yeah.
When you don't know what's going on or you don't pay attention to what's going on, you're able to truly live in bliss.
Yeah.
But once you know, it's hard to, for everything to be okay.
Yeah.
Once you know that certain foods are killing you,
Yeah.
a lot of times you're going to make a change.
Yeah.
So, when I say we used to get into it with people all the time, because sometimes we would go to places when people would be out to raise awareness. The point of a protest to me, like I hated sometimes protesting at night because I just felt like we're not really disturbing anything.
Right.
So, some of the actions that we did, I was like, this makes sense. We are supposed to disturb the peace. We are supposed to make people uncomfortable so that they listen, so that they understand business does not continue as usual.
Right.
But people get frustrated when you are talking to them and they trying to have fun.
Yeah.
Or if you stop in traffic or, things like that. Like people getting out the car, getting into it with people. But that wasn't even the worst part of it. That part I kind of understood. Okay, y'all want to have a good time. You don't want to hear all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like going to to have an abortion and somebody's, they got people outside protesting about, Jesus and stuff like that. And I don't want to hear this right now, or, whatever. But for me, when my last time getting arrested, I'm one of the Dallas 9. So we protested the deaths of both Jai and O'Shea Terry, which is crazy. I wasn't even supposed to be there because my doctor had called me like the day before and was like, hey, you need a blood transfusion.
Real.
And the guy that I was kind of talking to at the time, he was like, Lelani, don't go to that protest.
Right.
He said, when you get done with work, you come over here. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I had already been talking to my people about, everything that we were going to do. And how I was like, I can't lead them by themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know some of these people. I can't lead my people.
Right.
So I ended up going. I called them on the way. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I know what we talked about, but I did the opposite. And that was crazy. 9 of us were surrounded by police, and they wouldn't let us go until the light turned green. When the light turned green, they jumped on us, threw us, choked one of my friends out. It was just a whole thing. But from that, Jerry Jones pressed charges on us. They had Fort Worth PD, Arlington PD, everybody there.
Right.
We spent 40 hours in jail. With a $100 bond. It took $100 to get each of us out. The bond, the judge, when we saw the judge, she said, your bond is $100. My homegirl said, I got $900. Can you let us out now? Like, but they, we got out or whatever. 40 hours, we went from Arlington jail to Tarrant County.
Okay.
And dressed out, and we're like, they separated all 9 of us. Yeah. We were on different floors in different units or whatever. And like, we had a real jail experience.
Wow.
And
what exactly was that experience, though? You lose your freedom fighting for your community. You go into a jail, and when you say you had a real jail experience, I mean, you're in there. What was it like? I mean, what were you thinking?
First of all, I was frustrated.
Yeah.
I was mad. I'm like, dang, I'm in here, we spent the first 24 hours together.
Yeah.
So now I got to spend these last few hours by myself, and I don't know these girls. I don't know, who waiting to see a judge, who already been, sentenced. It's a county jail, so, but I don't know what you're in there for. If you about to go, if you are after court, I don't know what your charges are, whatever.
Right.
When I got in, my first thing was like, I don't even know the rules. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? I go to speak to the CO, and she was like, don't come past this line. I'm like, girl, I've never been here. I don't understand this. Right. So, this girl, she was like, you going straight back? And I say, like, why? Like, what's up? My first immediate, I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to fight up here.
Right.
I mean, whatever it is, I got to get up out of here. And I don't know. So we're talking to people on the outside when we got to make our calls and stuff like that. Okay. But we don't know that we made national news at this time. Oh, we don't know that this is a big thing. We're frustrated. At the time, I was a vegetarian. I haven't eaten. Right. I have not used the restroom. Yeah. I'm frustrated. Right. So, I'm like, why, what's up, And the girl was like, you going to sell such and such? And I said, why, what's up? Like, what you on? Right. And she was like, oh, you might be my celly. And she was kind of cool. I was like, hey, cool. Girl, I ain't know. Went back to try to, go put my stuff down or whatever. Right. And they came and searched bunks. Yeah. So they flipping stuff. They going through stuff looking for contraband. Again, I'm new here. I'm waiting to make a call so I can tell my people, hey, I haven't eaten. Can y'all put something on something so I can, give me something in the morning? They make us all sit outside. So we're up some floors. We then took an elevator up or whatever. We're up some floors.
Okay.
There's an outside area, but it's not outside.
Right.
It's like enclosed. It's like a little basketball hoop with no hoop, with no net on it or whatever.
Right.
And they made us sit outside with our backs to the wall. Like we sitting, in lines or whatever. And they were like, no talking.
Right.
For every time we hear somebody talking, that's an extra hour y'all got to sit out here.
What?
This is my first introduction. I'm just getting here.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? Are you, what?
Yeah, yeah.
And some girls get to talking. It's an older woman. She like, say, I don't know if you cuss on here.
Yeah, you can.
She was like, say, shut the fuck up.
Right.
And if you don't, she was like, I'm gonna knock your ass out. And the girl was like, I'm not scared of you. She said, hey, you don't know about this. She said, I throw them bows. I throw them bows on you. Say, when I said I was dying laughing.
Right.
But I'm like, say, I'm with the old lady, shut up. Because if we got to sit an extra hour out here, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And the old lady was like, say, they come out here and say something to us.
Yeah.
I'm on your ass when we get,
Yeah.
when we get back. And so, they, whispering, they doing a little stuff or whatever. But they ended up coming inside. We ain't find nothing, so they let us go back inside. But we sat out there for probably like an hour. Phones were shut out when we got back in.
Right.
People were in there watching TV and doing stuff, eating. You couldn't do any of that.
Right.
At that point, it was lights out.
Okay.
So we went in, laid down. I remember the girl who I was bunking with, she was like, she was eating some Skittles and she was like, you hungry? She was like, have you eaten something? And I was like, nah. And she gave me some Skittles and she gave me a pickle. My best friend was like, oh, we got you out just in time. You was finna be her girlfriend. He said, you let somebody get you. He said, you let somebody get you that fast. I said, hey, man, I wasn't even thinking about all of that. All I was thinking was, it's been a long time.
Right.
I need something on my stomach. And they ended up calling me like, it was early in the morning. I don't know what time it was.
Okay.
But it was like a speaker in the cell or whatever. And they was like, Lelani Russell. Come on, come out or whatever. So I came out, the CO brought me downstairs. They brought us all out. We didn't even get a chance to grab our things. And they were like, y'all being released. And they rushed to us to release us. Like,
really?
Undress, put your clothes back on, hurry up. Y'all to get out of here. So basically what they did was the lawyers and our people that were there for us, they was like, it's going to be a long time for us to process them. Y'all can go eat, do whatever y'all need to do. And we'll let y'all know, like, then, come back in like 2 hours.
Right.
That's what they told them. Well, when they left, they hurried up and rushed us out so that we would go out and nobody would be there.
Okay.
Crazy enough, the only person who was outside was Charleston White. We're in Fort Worth. Charleston White said, this is before Charleston White was as big as he is.
Right.
And he was like, say, I'm coming for the whole, we into it with each other a little bit because we frustrated. We haven't eaten. We are kind of men against women a little bit at this time because they didn't bond it over there. We bonded too, but still we were frustrated with them because some of the stuff they had did and we had found out certain things. They had said that one of the guys had brass knuckles and we was like, you brought brass knuckles, man? We finna have extra stuff.
Yeah.
One of the dudes, he was like, kind of trying to tell, but I didn't invite them. Didn't want them there. But regardless, the dude didn't have on brass knuckles. He had on a 4-finger ring.
Okay.
But they said brass knuckles. Again, we can't talk to each other. So we're hot. Like the video that the news had got of us is we walking out pissed as I'll get out. The men trying to talk to us, but us as the women, we are hot. Again, we don't know we made national news.
Right.
We don't know that. And we come outside and we don't see any of our people.
Yeah.
Cutting our phones on. I didn't cuss my brother, my people out. I'm like, hey, where the hell y'all at?
Right.
We hungry, He was like, man, I'm gonna get you whatever you want to eat. We didn't know y'all were gonna get out that fast, so they rushed us out, and it was just like literally getting our phones, cutting our phones back on. I think mine was on for like 5 minutes, then I had to charge it. But when we got all our stuff and our phones were going off the hook, and we were like, what? All of this has happened, but going to it was when you had asked before what took me down with community. We went to jail in 2018. Okay. Going to court 2020, the pandemic happened. So we started going to court in 2019. 2020, because they kept pushing us back. It was always something, always something, always something. 2020, we're having court. So we were going to court in 2019. When I showed up to court, it wasn't really anybody there. It's like a few people that I know, like, you know, people were there, and you know, a couple other people. But I'm like, the courthouse not like packed with people. Like, I've been standing for y'all for years now, and no one's here. That hurt my feelings.
Yeah, because nobody had your back.
Yeah, that really hurt my feelings. I was still standing, but that hurt. And then after the pandemic, you know, when we finally got charged and everything, that was hard to go through that, the money, all of that stuff. Yeah. People have been donating to GoFundMe that had nothing to do with all of us, and so, you know, the lawyers were free, but the end result and all of the stuff, you have to pay for court fees, you have to pay for your probation. You have to pay, so you pay probation fees, you pay court fees, you pay for the drug test that they do on you. Like, all of that stuff was just, it was a lot. An organization ended up paying my fees. And I think my mom gave me some money, but I didn't get off probation until 2024, February 2024 is when I actually got off probation. Which is crazy because I was only supposed to be on probation for a year. But they kept pushing me back. It kept me in different stuff. So that hurt.
Yeah, I can imagine. You know, one of the things I always think about when it comes to the community is social engineering. And I have this theory that when it comes to our community, there are things that are injected into the community from outside forces, outside actors, to influence the vibe, the frequency in the community. And if they can keep us circulating at a low frequency, then they can control the community more. And sometimes I don't even know who they is, right? You know, who that would be. But at the same time, it's like there are all of these instruments within the community. It's like we're constantly fighting amongst ourselves, you know, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I always think about neo soul. So we had this music that was uplifting. We had films uplifting. We had TV shows uplifting. We had art. We had all of these vibrant elements in the community. And little by little, it seemed as though there was something else that was pushing up, you know, certain types of music or certain types of films, degrading women, you know, degrading the elderly or whatever the case may be. So, you know, when you think about community, what are some things that we probably need to strip away to help us to move forward?
Well, the truth is, this has been embedded for a long time. When you think about slavery lasted almost 300 years. That's a long time to break a people and break them down. And you have, we talked about this on another show I was on, the dark against the light, the woman against the man. All of those things, the buck breaking, you know, taking the biggest one, doing, you know, all of that stuff. So, even the like, when I say the light against the dark, like, everybody mad at each other because they don't know what this one is having to deal with. Y'all both dealing with stuff. You really can't say either has it better because you're in the house. Things are happening to you inside the house. Things are happening to them out there. So, you know, all of those things, but it continued. Every time we tried to progress, they would tear us down again. Black Wall Street, all of those things. So every time we would build a community, we would come together. I actually feel like segregation hurt us a lot more than it helped. And I honestly feel like that's what got Martin Luther King killed, when he said that he started to understand things a little bit differently. Him and Malcolm actually started to be a little bit more on the same, somewhat understanding when it came to certain things, because he started to see things a little differently. He said, I feel like we're going to win, you know, integration. I didn't mean to say segregation, integration messes up, but he was like, I feel like we're going to win. He said, but I feel like we're running into a burning building. Like, And it's the truth.
Yeah.
Because you allow the people who have for years, centuries, took away our everything that we knew, our language,
Yeah.
our culture.
Yeah.
They forced all of their stuff on us and made us feel like everything that we knew was wrong.
Right.
So, you know, you got generations of generations not even knowing where they came from. You know, we have storytelling and we tell, but it's just like telephone. Things get lost in translation.
Right.
You know, and bit by bit, we started to lose more and more and more of ourselves. So when it comes down to it, once Martin Luther King was killed and people weren't really researching and understanding like the things that he was saying about the integration, we felt like, oh, we won. We got in, we got complacent. And we conformed more and more to the things that kept us safe.
Right.
And even now, like with the, you know, music, movies and different things like that, we were taught in church, about certain things that were bad. They used to talk about Pokemon, you know, pocket monsters.
Right.
And how it was bad and things like that. And there was a pastor who used to speak about certain things that you watch. And he, you know, they would really bring stuff, but he would say that I can't say like don't watch everything, but know what you're watching.
Oh, wow.
Be aware of what it is that you are feeding yourself.
Yeah.
And over time, the more things that happen to us, the social media we have, everything is at our fingertips.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's easy to scroll past stuff. It's hard, like for years. Everything that was bad that was happening, I was taking it in. And it was fueling an anger inside of me to the point to where I don't really want to know a lot of stuff that's going on. Like I know what I know and I look at little stuff, but I have to take it in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I can't watch any videos of anybody being killed.
Yeah.
I can't watch anything because it had become, I had become so numb to it.
Right.
And nowadays, a lot of this stuff we are numb to.
Yeah.
If I hear gunshots right now, I'm not going to run.
Right.
I'm not going to duck unless I hear them close. I know when it's times, but a lot of that stuff just feels normal. I'm not going to stop. I probably continue to talk.
Yeah.
It's crazy. A lot of us are actually living with PTSD. They know PTSD when it comes to war veterans and things like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
honestly, we have dealt with so much trauma as a people.
Yeah.
We are living with PTSD.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And if you go to a therapist enough and you talk to them, they will tell you that.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So when it comes to the things that we need to change and stuff like that, I really feel like a lot of parents need to learn more and not put everything on the school to teach their kids. I think that we put a lot of emphasis on celebrities being able to tell, for kids to look up to. So why would y'all sing music like that? Or why would you do this? And why would you do that?
Right.
If I'm speaking about my reality, it's still your responsibility to teach your kids something different.
Right.
So we still need to get back to the storytelling, where we came from, the village building. I allow anybody I trust around my kids. You are able to discipline my children because I want my kids to get everything from all of us.
Yeah.
And if I trust you, then I trust your judgment when it comes to getting on them. We've gotten away from so many things that actually saved us for so long.
That's true.
Because we kept feeling like, oh, well, we got a seat at the table, but we really don't have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
They're giving us bits and pieces and crumbs, and we are comfortable with that because, we don't have to focus on the bad things that are happening.
Right.
But if we can truly get back to teaching our children, being real with them about stuff, I still talk to my kids about things that are going on. I still check in on my children because I do not want my kids to forget who they are, how they're seen, and what's to come. My children learn from everybody.
Yeah.
My mom is Christian, my dad is Jewish, and I'm more spiritual. They get it from all points because I want them to actively go and learn it themselves. I want them to believe in something, not because their mama believe in it, because it's something that they actually looked at. I want them to be able to get the full experience, and a lot of us have gotten away from that. So we really just need to stop putting it on everything else and what's feeding our children and what we're allowing to feed our children, and still feed them at home and make sure that I can't take away everything that's going on.
Right.
I'm never going to be able to say, we're just going to shut down all of that.
Right.
So if I give them enough
Right.
value and understanding, because regardless of how far you go, you can always get back to your values and the things that you've learned. So if I give them all of those things, then they can be aware of the things that they're watching,
Right.
so that it doesn't taint them and change who they are at their core.
Yeah, yeah. That is a solution. That's 100% a solution. And I like that, because a lot of times people who identify problems or they identify challenges, they can't come back around with some solutions. So I think it's great that you've been able to kind of think through the challenges and the opportunities and then get to the solutions. But at the same time, it's probably because you've been in the fight and you've been at the ground level. And so you've been building yourself and you've had all these things come in. And with that, I want to talk about mental health, because that's something that's very, very important to me. The first thing I want to say about, before we get into it, is thank you for, you know, I've had health challenges and everything, and been in and out the hospital. And every time I come out the hospital and I come around you, you'd always check in. It's like, you know, hey, how you doing? I'm doing okay. Then you know, probably give me a hard time.
Very much so, because I never want you to not feel normal around me. Okay. And if I'm too nice, you will not feel comfortable.
That's true. That's true. So I appreciate that. But the thing is that everything around us, you know, everything we do, our space, our clothes, you know, so much, it contributes to mental health. It can either, you know, promote good mental health, or it can contribute to some challenges with our mental health. You've been in jail, you've been beaten, you've been hit by a car, you've got all these things going on. How do you protect your mental health?
So actually, and my break from activism started 3 years ago.
Okay.
Almost 4 years ago, when I was pregnant with my son. Well, actually, I would say after I had my son, completely took a break in about 2022, so about 2 years ago.
Okay.
But I had a lot of postpartum depression.
Yeah.
I was slightly depressed before then, but I was I was high functioning in my depression.
Yeah.
And I was just focused on everybody else, that I never had to take a time to focus on myself. Well, after my son, I lost a lot of people around me. A lot of people didn't talk to me. I ran for city council.
Yeah.
Right before I got pregnant with my son. My election
See, that's going to be an episode all by itself right there.
My election was May 1st. Yeah, May 1st, 2021. I got pregnant with my son in June of 2021. So, yeah.
What were you thinking? Oh, my God.
I took a break, okay? but going through that or whatever, spending time on myself. I had my son at home. I had a home birth or whatever, and I was by myself a lot.
Wow.
Spent a lot of time with just me and my baby.
Yeah.
The few people that, you know, I trusted would come and check on me from, you know, time to time. My dad would come late at night. My mama would come like once a week or whatever.
Right.
But I had fell into a very deep depression, to where I didn't even know how to communicate to someone that I was depressed.
Right.
There were times where I wasn't bathing myself or eating properly, or just literally stuck.
Yeah.
And it got really bad.
Yeah.
It got very, very, very bad. And I thought something was terribly wrong with me. And a friend of mine said, you know, it take like 2 years, because they say, oh, you know, the 6 weeks you need to let your body heal.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
some people will say, oh, about up to 18 months. But a friend of mine, she was like, you know, it actually takes about 2 years for you to get through that postpartum depression.
Yeah.
And I was coming up on my 2 years, and I was like, this makes sense. I'm not crazy.
Right.
You know, I had really thought that I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
And about probably 2025.
Okay.
2025 was a hard year for me. Okay. I had made some new friends after my son. I had thought I was, you know, doing some different things for myself or whatever. 2025.
Yeah.
I went through some heartbreak.
Wow.
Ooh, I'm talking about some bad heartbreak. I was tore down to the point to where I I had already started to forget a lot of myself.
Yeah.
I was already forgetting a lot of myself. I had forgot tools that I needed to use, different things. And at this point, I was like, this is crazy. Like, felt so small.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I can't stay like this.
Yeah.
My kids see me every day. My children love me. I can't stay in this space.
Right.
And I started to do something for myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to school.
Yeah.
I'm going to school. I signed up for school, and I signed up for counseling.
Okay.
So 2024, I started to change my fight a little bit. I started working more with reproductive justice.
Okay.
Whole different thing. But regardless, it was a lot of freedom in that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of resources that came with it. So I ended up being able to get some counseling for free. So I started going to therapy. I started going to therapy. I sent my daughter to therapy. I say, hey, I know I ain't been the best. I'm going to let you go get some help. I'm going to go get some help.
Right.
And my therapist was like, you're not crazy.
Right.
And you're not wrong.
Right.
You just gave yourself to the wrong people.
Wow.
And she started, the way she would talk to me and she would get, would give me certain things, it clicked.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to be like this anymore.
Yeah.
So I went to focusing on myself.
Yeah.
Being okay with the people that walked out. Putting back into myself.
Right.
I just started getting into the things that helped me.
Right.
Being on podcasts.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want to be an activist like I was before. I never want to be a frontline soldier like that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't mind going to talk to state representatives. I don't mind doing all of that stuff. But I don't want to do that part again.
Right.
But it's time. My doula said, it's time for you to start teaching. You have all of the stuff.
Yeah.
So how do I teach people? And I have not gotten me completely together. So I started doing the things that make me happy. The way I dress, that's my self-expression. I had cut my locks off. I cut my locks off in 2024, but still, I cut my locks off. I started expressing myself with my hair, more into my style, actually dressing myself versus just being at home and not putting on clothes. Wanting to be outside, getting outside and having fun. I like to dance a little bit, I go out, I like to hit me a little. Now I am a little, I don't like to be in a club that long. I'm more of a lounge person, but every now and then, I shake a little tail feather, then I sit like this for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I get back up, do a little something, then I'm back to like, okay, what time is this over?
Yeah.
But just getting back out there, doing certain things that I enjoy, putting into myself and realizing that I come first. I need certain time for myself. I'm not all the way back to me, but what makes me happy? What are the things that I need breaks from my kids? I love my kids, but everything cannot be around them. When I go shopping, I don't have to shop for them. I was like, that's what? I don't got to buy them? That's crazy. Just doing things that I enjoy and that I wanted to do for myself. So really focusing on my mental health. That's
beautiful. That's really beautiful, because I think we all go through phases where we lose ourselves a little bit. Some people are very good at hiding it. I wrote a book, Invisible Tears, Silent Joy, and it was all about putting a mask on, and not letting people see your vulnerability or your struggles and all this other stuff. In the past 2 years, going through my health challenges, I'm breaking out of that a little bit. I grew up being a musician, then I got into poetry, and then all these different things. But I only allowed people to see certain parts. I kept church and state separate. But now I'm learning that, that hurts me more than it helps me, because if I'm struggling to hide certain parts of myself, then I'm not being true to myself. And that leads me to your style. Okay, because every time I see you, you're popping. Okay, and it's like your identity, because it's not fashion based. It's style based. It's like it represents you. So when you show up, it's like you're giving an impression, or you're giving a presentation of your spirit, your soul, everything that makes you Lele, right? So when you go, first of all, where do you shop? I mean, do you
everywhere. And I do mean everywhere. I thrift.
Yeah.
Shein. I'm a bargain shopper. Let me start there. Okay, I love me a sale.
Okay.
But I can go pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I go to Ross. I can find something in places that other people are not gonna find stuff. Yeah. I'm actually really good at Shein. There's a friend of mine who will contact me sometimes and, you know, put me a list together. Or my cousin sometimes, she just put me some stuff to the side. Like, I don't dress other people like I dress myself.
Right.
I dress me differently. I dress people based off of who they are, their body type, etc. But my style for me is, depending on how I'm feeling, I use certain colors that incite certain things to me. Orange is for your sacral chakra, which is also where your creativity is. When I need to be more creative, stuff like that. And it's crazy because it has been a part of me for so long that I just started unintentionally doing those things. Yeah. It'll speak to me like, oh, that's what I need to be putting on today. Okay.
Right.
Blue is for your throat chakra. Like, when I'm not speaking up for myself or I'm timid and things like that. Just putting on certain stuff that incites certain things in me. But for me, some people are very unfortunate because they see me as small. Majority of people understand that I'm 6'7". So
right.
Whether you notice it off top or you don't.
Right.
I'm going to speak. My body, everything about me is going to speak before any words actually come out of my mouth. This has
you may
always...
look 4'2", but the reality is that you're 6'7".
You keep trying it, and it's crazy that you go so far. Like, I can't trip you. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, that has been how, like, you know, most places when you got to go to work, you have to go to work a certain way.
Right.
I always stood out based on how I dress.
Right.
For me, when you talked about people being able to hide what they're going through so well, that's how I hide it. I hide it based off of if I look good, if I smile all the time, then you don't know what I'm going through. Because for me, it was like it's not everyone else's problem to fix me.
Right.
But it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
So, but still, I find a lot of joy in dressing myself and putting on stuff, putting myself out there. That's exciting to me.
Nice. Well, we're getting to the end of our time together, but before we get there, you know, there's the last segment. It's called Culture Check, but it's really called This or That. Okay, so you remember the rap song back in the day? You can get with this, or you can get with that.
Yes.
Okay, so it's based.
Don't
off
make me as old as you. No, I'm done. Okay, that's my last joke. Maybe.
That's not your last.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh, episode number 10. All right. So
I'm
for
sorry.
you, what song today that you're listening to represents the fight of the community?
A song this today? Can it come anytime?
Just anytime. Just,
okay.
You know, anytime.
Because I was like, dang, I went and looked up something. No, I'm just playing. So, actually, the song "Wake Up Everybody," no more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking. Time for thinking ahead.
Right.
The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. It's crazy. A song that's so old. But we as a people are still dealing with the same stuff that they were dealing with then.
Right.
Not much has changed. It looks different.
Right.
Our access is different. A lot of things are videotaped now. And we feel a little more empowered. I don't know if we feel more empowered or if we have just gotten so delusional that it seems like we're more empowered.
Right.
But that song, I'm always in a sense of wake up and stop thinking that you are safe.
Right.
I moved my children to a decent neighborhood. We live in a community. It's the first time ever. I've always lived very close to a highway, very close to the main street. Like I'm on the end of the street all the time because my mind is always, I need to go. I need to go. I back in everywhere I go because when I get in, I want to pull off.
Right.
Always about my safety. And this is the first time that for my children and myself that we are in a place where it takes us a minute to get to the main road. It takes us a minute to get to the highway. And for me, I feel more safe, but I'm never unaware of what's going on.
Right.
And I just feel like even when we feel safe or comfortable, we always need to be paying attention, because at the end of the day, we are still Black in America. Now, there are a lot of things that are changing, the recognition of slavery, all of these different things that are happening to push us forward, you know, reparations, all of these things. But it's so many things that are also setting us back. The president in office, you know, different things. We have different celebrities that we've trusted and loved that are, you know, look like us, but their voting and their understanding is against us or whatever. It is truly time for us to understand what's going on and get back to a better time where we actually cared about each other. It wasn't about, well, your background is different from mine, or no, you can't say nothing to my kid, or whatever it was. And starting to understand that at the end of the day, I'm Black, you Black. So when we walk up out of here, can't nobody touch you, because I got your back and you got my back. And that's it. That's all. If I have a problem with you, I'm going to discuss it with you later on, but I'm never going to embarrass you out here in public. So those things, to me, that's always, there will always be a song that resonates with me, because not much has changed, and we just need to get back to
I like that.
some better
like that.
us as a people.
More togetherness. So we're going to run through this real quick. Awareness or action?
Both.
Okay. Protest or policy?
You killing me. They need to, they kind of go hand in hand in a sense. I want my politician to advocate for me. I want them to protest. So both.
Okay. Rest or grind?
I need one to get to the other.
Okay. Authenticity or expectation?
Authenticity.
Okay. Social media activism, is it a tool or is it a trap?
Depends on how you use it. If you are aware of certain things, it can truly be a tool. You can reach more people. You can push it out a lot faster. But you also have to be careful and mindful.
That's nice. That's nice. Lelani Marie Russell. Before we jump out, where can people catch you?
So on Instagram, it is loving_this_life1. On Facebook, it is Lelani Marie. That's LELE space Marie. Now, if you send me a friend request, I might not accept it. But you can follow me, you know, shoot me a message. We can converse. I fear people just a little bit, but not a lot. It's okay.
And you're on a couple of podcasts, right?
I am.
Okay.
I am on one called Black Shit. Shit is spelled ZHYT, with two gentlemen. We're on all your podcasts, and wherever you watch your podcast, we have stuff we're listening to. And I was just on the Dirty Bag podcast. An episode aired last week. You can watch it on YouTube or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And the second episode airs this week. Okay,
and with the Dirty Bag podcast, is it spelled like it sounds, or is there?
Yes, it's all one word, the Dirty Bag Space Podcast.
Okay. I think it's important that we support other folks. You know, the platform that I have here is all about building and togetherness. And I think that the only way that we can get forward is if we say, okay, we're going to burn the boats so that we can, you know, focus on building bridges. So again, thank you for jumping on more than 2 minutes. It's been enjoyable. I learned some things. You cracked some jokes, and it's good that you came through. So thanks again, Lily.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're out.